Oh, I'm not a good example to therapists about anyone, really. Hi,
No.
everybody. Welcome to DMT RPG, your one-stop shop for don't do what I do. Okay.
Or do.
This
I
is
mean, you wound up here.
this is your Wednesday, Old Gods of Appalachia. Candlebook and Bell. I am joined by Mitch as Reviv, Chef as Kleber, and the Lushak as Ruth. We are missing Ashley because she's busy scaring folk for Halloween's. But she'll be back with us next week
I say, how's that different than normal?
because
Hi,
it's
actually.
Halloween.
And
If this is your first time catching us, you are a little bit behind. This is episode 6, I think.
Ooh. Mhm.
We only have a few left. Well, I fixed his dice box. Hey guys, why don't you share what happened last game? Starting with Mitch. You want to go first, Mitch?
Well, we got out of the well, and we helped Kate with packing up a bunch of food and produce into a cart to bring back to the town. Raviv looked at Kate to see if maybe they could sense something about them to compare them to the Kate from down below, and they sensed a little, what would you call it, like a sliver of the nothing that was down below.
Something like that.
And when we got back to town, we figured out that with Shucky, Raviv basically fed the gremlins at midnight.
Sure did. Sure did. All right, Chef.
well, we got back to town after a quick stop at the Bell plantation, where they had, quite a number of employees, and that's all they were, doing a whole bunch of stuff. Let's see. We came back and the town was effectively afire on purpose, kind of, but also kind of not. Not exactly the best place, and we got threatened very, very rudely for helping people. And
Yeah,
I, for one, still,
not sus at
I'm
all.
still a
Not
little
sus at
salty about that. I'm not gonna lie.
And Ruth.
Yeah, so, after being threatened and accused and side-eyed and glared, squinted at and everything, Kleber and Ruth took Catherine to Kate's to have a heartfelt discussion and everything. Meanwhile, Raviv was running around trying to find Shucky to save Shucky and, stop his evil ways, which didn't work out as well because Glenn befriended a bunch of fire elementals and just went arsonist on the entire place to burn those little shucks down.
Which was
It was
And
actually a
he
pretty good
successful.
move.
and he
Yeah.
has absolutely no chill
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
And he has no ability to negotiate because he owes them like 15 years firewood each.
Mhm.
Pretty much like an eternal flame situation for 15 years.
Oof.
Yeah. And
Good luck
fire
if you
tends to
break
burn.
that oath. Good luck.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a problem for next week because this week, Glenn's busy.
Yeah.
We are basically fast forwarding about 3 days in the future from the last time we met. The past several days have been kind of eaten away by cleaning up, assessing damage, trying to make a plan for how to move on. A little bit of reputation recovery for this group in particular. Uh, Farmer Masters estimates about 75% of their crops are just gone. They think they should be able to replant, but maybe it would be a limited harvest before the first frost. We are into summer at this point, so they're going to try, but it's going to be a couple of months before they can even produce anything at all. Farmer Hopper is mostly unscathed. He lost a few chickens to, well, the munchies. A pig was killed, And he's missing a few cows and a few horses after someone left the gates wide open. No, not you. None of you. None of you did it.
This
Uh,
time.
he was able to recover a couple of them, but, you know, he's not really sure the rest can find their way home. So that might be a limitation. Considering the number of people in town, the rations you guys brought back from Adams, is estimated to maybe last a week or so. Not very long. It was 2 wagons worth of food for basically an entire town. And you're going to need a lot more on a regular basis if anyone's going to have a chance to catch up. There are some people talking about moving out of town, some people talking about contacting relatives to stay with them for a while. It's a crisis still, even though for right now, everyone is safe, everyone is fed. The townsfolk are still super nervous. They never stop being nervous, really. The first 24 hours was more or less spent inside of the church. People in various states of panic and religious fervor, praying for forgiveness, praying for salvation, praying for a solution and a miracle. And even though most people have left that crisis level anxiety, that church is always full still. As people pray and try to find community. And you get the sense that that community may not include you guys quite so much. There were a lot of fingers pointed at you and Kate. Some combination of the timing of your trip out of town, knowing that there was going to be a need for food, bringing back those 3 children out of nowhere, even though they swear up and down to their parents that they absolutely got lost in the caves. And you brought them back from the caves. That doesn't really fully allay the fears of a lot of the town. So, in these 3 days, what has everyone been doing?
Kleber goes into the woods every day, right? Like they're a woodsman.
Uh, most days. He's out there for at least a couple hours, if not a whole day.
Raviv would be following Kleber into the woods and gathering like edible plants, herbs, eggs out of nests, trying to replenish some of the food that got destroyed.
Okay. You are able to gather enough for you and maybe a small group of people. But compared to the number of people in town, it's not like people are falling over themselves with gratitude toward you.
Well, this is kind of Raviv's fault.
Kind of. Kleber, what have you been up to?
I've been out in the woods, one, trying to see, I mean, apparently there are still cows, horses, and everything that might be out lost, so looking for track of them, looking to see who or what else is about.
Okay. Roll me tracking.
Correct. That's not the right button.
Okay. You find 2 animals. You find one of the horses and one of the cows. You bring them back. Farmer Hopper is cagey, but says the right words. He says the thank you words and appreciate that words. And
What did we do? What do you think we did?
would you like a scene with the farmer really quick?
Whether it turns into a scene is going to be up to him.
I mean, you are asking for me to go in character with Hopper, so technically it's a
I
scene.
I have the tendency to cause a scene. Yes.
Okay, I will come back to that in
I
just a second. Ruth, what have you been doing?
Well, she does two things. The first is she tells her husband Samuel and her son Thomas about Catherine. Likely will probably take them to Kate's place so that they can talk in private, discuss things, air out grievances, explain as best they possibly can, just get everyone on the same level. Um, I have no idea how the reaction will go, but if for the immediate time being, if Catherine needs to stay at Kate's, or if it's okay for for Catherine to come back to their house, they will surely figure it out. Um, and then after that entirety is taken care of, Ruth will probably keep out of the way because likely Samuel will need to be cutting lumber for the rebuilding of the buildings that got burnt and any sort of fencing or whatever that got broken. So she will spend the 3 days um, making gifts for for the party and for uh, Kate. They are completely non-magical, but she her mindset is that when she's forging, she will put whatever intention it is into her work. So it'll be gratitude and be thankfulness, and she will use basically what is her most expensive metal, which would be copper. And for Kleber, she makes a cuff bracelet, which at first appearance it looks like it's scratched up and dented, but upon closer inspection, the dents and the scratches are actually um, depictions of she of the Rocky Mountains because she had heard about the Lewis and Clark expedition years ago and how they were the tallest, most wildest looking mountains in America. And she thought, if Kleber liked this sort of thing, well, he can have those, he can carry them with him wherever he goes, and maybe one day he'll be able to see them. For Reviv, she will make three copper bells that are hung on string. Essentially, they will be like a sort of door chime, so they can hang them on their caravan or just something nice to add to their decor and everything, but they're hand forged copper bells. Uh, for Glenn, she takes a iron horseshoe, one that she's had laying around, and in the nail holes, she forges and intertwines copper oak leaves and acorns and makes it to be like a decoration to sit on top of his front door. Oak is strength and endurance and longevity. Acorns are apparently fertility. She didn't realize that at the time, but she did it. And the horseshoe is for pure damn luck because, oh my God, Glenn needs the luck. And for Kate, she makes a simple little pendant. She just starts with copper wire and she just curls in this little design. It's a spiral, but it's also sort of a clover shape. And she doesn't know where the design came from, but it just worked for whatever reason. And I will put that in our little group chat so everyone can see what they get.
Oh, so nice. I'm gonna
Yeah.
have you roll a d20.
Oh,
Not for like the
really?
quality of it. Don't worry, everything's
Okay.
really nice.
Okay.
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 Okay. Everybody has space in their ciphers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, should.
Okay. Not
I
you.
have
I mean,
one.
not you, Ruth, I guess, but I know. I think I left everyone with at least one space when I made their stuffs. So you can add your trinket as a cipher. One use only, like all ciphers. Um, but if you ever lose track of Ruth, you are able to find her. And with that, um, let's see. Although Glenn's symptoms from his fight with the giant cottonmouth are manageable by a combination of medicine and magic, they are still unpredictably popping up. So mostly he's either been staying with Kate or Mace Madsen, what you would consider the town's doctor. That is why he is not coming with you today as you embark on a bit of a road trip, a bit of a journey back to Adams. It isn't just you, but several other groups of townsfolk are branching off to make contact with neighboring towns, meet with some friendly faces, try to negotiate terms for perhaps shipping in food. And since you've been to the Bell Farm, since you've been to Adams, well, it just made sense for you guys to go back. It's probably late afternoon as your wagon, we'll say one wagon, it's three of you. Only one of them you actually really know how to drive really, really well.
I don't
You're,
think Reviv needs to take his wagon everywhere.
you're,
Mm-mm.
you might need to bring stuff back if you succeed. Like food. It's like late afternoon, the sun kind of dipping down to flirt with the horizon. It's not actually set yet, but it's getting awfully close. When you pull up to the Bell Farm, make a turn down their winding driveway to park in front of their immaculate white house. They are not expecting you. So what do? Your goal is to negotiate either the ability to buy or earn or somehow take through the power of heart and soul food on a regular basis for the next few months until your town can catch up and grow more themselves.
So when you say they're not expecting us, does that mean that they come out and they are hostile, or they're just like a little commotion whenever we pull up?
You don't know yet. You just pulled up. You do know they do not expect you to come.
Remember, the old man's name is John, not Jack.
And the wife's name is Lucy.
How do you know that?
Well, because I know I know Jen said that, but probably didn't say it in character. Never mind
No,
then.
you overheard. You had the capability of
Okay.
overhearing. Kate referred to her as
Okay.
Lucy as they were talking right before you left.
Okay. So, seeing as how John didn't particularly seem to care for us, mayhap trying to get in Miss Lucy's good graces might be the smarter play here.
Sounds like it might be the best idea. Uh,
You
are you
imagine
expecting me to
Lucy's
talk?
John's wife? She is a good bit younger than him, though, if true. If true, kind of creepy.
Said Miss Well,
Would you like me to do the talking, or would either of you like to sweet talk?
let's see how she responds, lady to lady, before I turn on what dubious charms I have next to her pistol-wielding husband.
All right.
Because, yeah, his hand was shaking, but it wasn't shaking
Mm.
that much.
And the last thing we need is another one of our party be injured.
I party, me, I'm more worried about the whole not getting shot me thing, honestly.
I would assume all three of us do not want to get shot.
I I don't know. I don't speak for everybody. I don't know. I mean, reviews from some strange part of the world. I don't know what they like there.
Oh, back in France, nobody really likes getting shot.
You're French?
I was born there, but, we moved to the Americas when I was like 6. So I'm
So
more
you're a
from
frog
here than
eater.
I am from French.
He was a damn frog eater.
Frogs are pretty nice, cook them over an open fire, a little salt.
Salt. Man, boy, we got to teach you actually how to, how to cook up some real food.
Well, I like them with some herbs too, but really all you need on frog legs is salt.
Well,
Uh,
la di da.
Salt and some butter, you got something going.
Butter. Mm.
All right. So, what Ruth is
a-
going
as
alone?
the yeah, as the two of them are doing their culinary expertise discussion, Ruth will get off the cart and approach the front door of the house and knock, and hopefully not be greeted with a pistol to the face.
As you get close to the door, you just hear like a cacophony of voices inside. Not that anyone's like angry or yelling. It is just the noise of a house full of kids of varying ages, people coming and going, getting things done to wrap up the day before the sun goes completely down. It's the noises of a house. Just a normal house.
Which I'm familiar with.
Which reminds me I didn't like address the whole Catherine thing. For the record, Thomas didn't seem phased at all by his new old sister's appearance.
Okay.
But
Oh, hmm. Uh-huh.
but your husband's gonna need some time.
That's what I figured. Like I said, if need be, Catherine, with Kate's permission, can stay at Kate's house, and we will work things out.
And that is exactly where Catherine is when you leave her
Okay.
behind. Your mind kind of wandering back to the sounds of your own home. Maybe someday soon, your home will be full of the noises of life again instead of the noises of crisis and uncertainty.
Hmm.
And finally, the door is opened. And standing in front of you is the older woman. Up close, it seems like she's maybe late 40s, maybe early 50s. Her hair just starting to go gray. A flower dusted apron on. A confused but welcoming enough look on her face.
Uh, Good afternoon, Miss Bell. I hope you remember me from a couple days past. Me and my companions were here with Kate. My name is Ruthie Gaskell. Ruth Gaskell.
Oh, yeah, yo,
Um,
Katie's friends. Yeah, I remember
mhm.
y'all. Was something wrong?
And no, 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 ma'am, not at all. We are very grateful for the food that you're able to supply us. Um, we do have a bit of a request. It seems that, well, either a massive herd of deer or vermins, they got into one of our town's large harvesting gardens, and we are here to humbly beg for more assistance.
Oh, honey, I'm a woman of God. There ain't no begging around here. What do you mean a herd of deer? An awful lot of deer?
It honestly, I don't know the circumstances. When we returned to town with the children that we were sent to find, we came upon the scene as is. It seemed the majority of our crops were either eaten or trampled or in general destroyed. Uh, I'm sure that perhaps those is even a herd of feral pigs. I honestly don't know. I'm sure that the menfolk of the town are rallying together to solve the problem. But in the meantime, with our crops destroyed, we do need some assistance to make sure everyone is fed. Are
Go,
you able to assist with that?
go ahead and roll,
Willing.
first of all, deception, because you're a liar. But
Uh huh.
I'm gonna let you roll twice, thanks to Mitch's care.
Okay.
I'll take
Well, I
the
mean,
higher
I'm not
result.
going to
Come
say that.
on. Come on, bullshit.
I'm
Come
combining deception
on,
and
bullshit.
persuasion.
Okay, let's see. I am going to put some effort into it, so maybe we'll be able to
Okay.
get something. I don't know. Damn it. I don't like that.
No, no.
And
Good
let's,
news. Good news, you have an
yeah,
extra.
yeah, I know. Okay,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, she has no reason to not trust you. So that was enough to at least get past her misgivings. She kind of glances past you to the wagon, clearly trying to squint against the setting sun to see if there's anybody else in there.
Ma'am?
Well, hey there. Don't be shy.
Didn't want to surprise everybody with too many on the doorstep. Viv, come on. And walk up to Miss Bell.
Good evening, everybody.
Nice to meet
Uh,
you, ma'am.
Nice
it
to meet
does
you
appear
too.
to be a good one.
Now I heard y'all had a bit of an incident back home.
Yes, ma'am. We're through some means fair or foul, and I'm still not sure of the details because I wasn't there when it kicked off. The Miss Masters lost about three-quarters of her crops, and, well, the town's going to be more than a little bit hungry before we can hopefully start replanting and getting more crops in. We were wondering if it would be possible for us to buy some more from, well, the Bell Farm to help keep everybody's body and soul together.
Well, unfortunately, that ain't much my decision. But you're welcome to come in. I'm sure John will be in from the fields pretty soon. How many
Well,
folk y'all
once the
say you got back in town?
honest answer,
It's probably 200, 250. It's a decent
I'd
sized
say
town.
about 10, 12 score.
Now, I will say that a lot of our goods go to supporting the town of Adams. It's kind of, it's a bit of an arrangement that we have with people around here.
Of course, of course.
So, I'm not real sure how much more we have to spare, but,
Well,
well,
in that case, you
hopefully you've caught a John in a generous mood. Her,
can only hope.
everybody roll me, empathy or vibe check, whatever you got.
Other skill.
All right. Damn, you guys. Yeah, from the way she pauses and her facial expressions, like if he's not in a good mood, And sometimes he's not in a good mood, like the extent to not good. She's a little afraid of him.
You
And
look
like a
troubled. Is
culturally,
everything okay?
would this be like more afraid than people were at the time of their significant others? Or would this be considered somewhat culturally appropriate?
I would say more.
Okay.
I would say more. Like, one must be obedient to their husband, but this is different.
Hmm.
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 Y'all care for any water or. Well, I think I just made some bread.
That'd be mighty kind of you. Thank you.
So she leads you through.
Take your hat off. Elbow revive.
She leads you to the house. It is a nice size house. It was probably built in the last few years. Just seeing the bottom floor, there is tons of space. Perhaps even like more space than they would need for the number of children you see milling about, but good for them. Good for them. They seem to be doing just fine. As new as their kitchen can possibly look, it is. It doesn't smell old. It doesn't look old. Whatever they've gotten, they've come by maybe relatively recently. She pours you each a glass of water, puts out some bread. She finds a little jar of cookies. She puts those out too. It's awfully late for y'all to be trekking across country, huh?
Yes, ma'am, but the need was urgent.
Well, I'm sure
And
it
we were
is.
hoping, even if Mr. John wouldn't be able to sell us any extra, perhaps he could tell us the name and maybe the contacts of further out that might know and be able to supply us.
He
At this
would
point,
not do that. So
oh,
hopefully he's willing to help.
would you by chance know any other people that might be willing to help?
No.
Hmm, pity. This bread is quite nice, by the way. Thank you.
Oh,
How do
family
you make it?
recipe.
Oh, mm. Snack, snack, snack. Polite, polite, polite. Snack, snack, snack. Polite, polite, polite.
I
Basically, yeah.
if y'all ain't done by evening, I suggest y'all stay here for the night.
That would be most kind of you. Yes, ma'am. We'd be happy to. Is there anything we might be able to do to exchange for a roof over our heads? Any work that we might be able to help with?
I'm sure there will be something. Uh, her smile falters for a second as she looks between the three of you before suddenly she turns away from the table and gestures for you to follow.
I will get up and follow.
Now, we're not normally in the habit of letting men and women congregate together, but we only have the one guest room, so if y'all could just behave yourselves.
Of course, of course. I mean, if it would be easier on everybody's conscience, I'd be happy to sleep in the barn.
No. We got a guest room. It's just fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Only room enough for one in the bed, so we'll get you some
Of
blankets for
course.
the rest of y'all. She leads you up the stairs toward a middle room, like facing the back of the house, where all of the fields and the barns and the pastures and the silos, where all of that is. The area is so new that like even the trees that have recently been planted haven't really had a whole lot of time to get large enough to block off your view. So from that second story room, you can pretty much see almost the entirety of the farm. It is huge. Well, well, I hope this will do.
Oh, Miss Bell, this will be more than sufficient. Thank you again. Is there? I can't help but notice those silos out there. They're relatively new, aren't they? I'm not sure I've seen that construction model before.
Oh, yeah, it's been a couple years.
Oh, did the farm expand recently?
Yeah, we have we have expanded.
Wonderful news.
It is.
Clearly a sign of God's blessing.
Absolutely. We feel very fortunate, very lucky that well, the grounds around here just want to give forth, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. Miss Bell, is there any? Just because I collect stories, you see. Are there any tales about this area? I hate to say I don't normally get out exploring this way. Most of my work's done over with the coal mines and everything, trying to explore for caves and find new seams. Are there any stories about this part of Appalachia?
Oh, I'm sure there are. I just don't know them. I don't
Mm,
talk to the locals a whole lot. And I don't mean the people in here in town. They gossip plenty. I just mean the locals. People here before us.
Cherokee?
Oh, is that who they are? I don't.
Takes a wild shot in the dark here. Uh, or did you mean the really pale folks who their eyes are kind of odd?
Miss Baxter from town. She. I
That
know
might
she's
be her name.
blind. I don't. I didn't know how local she was.
I heard a story when we were coming from the other way about some folks who looked like that. I didn't know if this is the part of the mountains that they were talking about or not. Felt, you know, couldn't hurt to ask.
Oh, well, I don't think so.
Okay,
All of a
okay.
sudden, from down below, you hear the door swing open forcefully and then slam shut. Heavy boots thumping across the floor. The clatter of something metal and heavy set onto a surface. And then just a bellow. Lucy! She
Oh,
stiffens, gives you each like a
sounds like
curt
your
smile, and then
husband's
hurries
home.
downstairs. Almost
Should we
immediately,
follow her?
Lucy, Lucy Bell.
I'll just stand in the doorway to of the guest room to see if I can like see down the stairs or anything. Not fully intruding, but yeah, listening in if I can.
you immediately start to hear her talk to her husband. Very cowed, very quiet, very quick. Asking, of course, how he's doing, how his day was, if she can get him anything but he needs, anything you need. And don't be mad. But we have some visitors. And you listen as she kind of explains the story that you gave her. Kate's friends came back from out of town. The deer swooping through the crops. How they might be interested in maybe purchasing or bartering or whatever. She talks so quickly, and he says nothing for a very long time. So you guys have like a few minutes to chat if you want to.
Didn't that
Didn't look
strike you as
okay.
odd?
You both spoke at the same time.
She didn't look okay. Did anyone else notice?
My mama
I'm
looked
Absolutely.
saying
like
this
that.
quietly, by the way.
Yeah, my mama looked
Yeah.
like that sometimes when Daddy would come home drunk. I get the distinct feeling this is not a truly loving husband, is the way they describe.
I'd agree.
Should we do something about it? Is it our place?
Do what? Fight a man in his own home about how he treats his wife? He didn't speak harshly. He didn't do anything wrong. Perhaps he's a bit brusque, but nothing that anybody could take anywhere.
We could talk. We could ask her when he's not around.
And what do you think she would say? Yes, I'm scared of my husband. Please, strangers who I've never met, take me away with you.
Well,
No, it won't be
what's
that
around in the
simple.
room? What's the room look like that we're in other than just a bed?
There's a bed, there's a side chair, there's like a little dresser and a side table, candles on all surfaces, little lantern lampies.
Well, a candle is something I could use, I suppose. I'm going to grab a candle and kind of scry into the flame using my sudden vision.
Okay.
I'm going
What
to
are you
ask,
focusing on when you light that candle and stare into it?
has Lucy been hurt by her husband? More than just normal, like actually abusive?
What are you considering normal abusive?
Like him striking her,
More than
her
that.
being.
I mean, I think the cultural and time period would make that distinctly different than what we would understand as acceptable in the modern time.
Hmm.
As you stare into the flame, normally your visions tend to be a little bit more visual, but this one will not be. This is just a pit of dread in the very deepest parts of your stomach, sparking to life and then growing like a tumor until it feels like you're suffocating from fear and dread. This utter certainty that everything that you know and love will come toppling down at any moment if you step wrong, if you think wrong, if you do wrong. There's 1,000 ways in which everything could end.
I was just going to drop the candle and fall down after the vision, just kind of stunned and shaking. Reminds them a lot of Waylon.
What on earth?
She's really hurting. Something's really not okay. I'm gonna reach out and try to
I
stamp out the candle flame if it's still there.
Yeah, I was about to say I'll pick up the candle if need be to make sure no other fires happen
I,
and help Reviv to their feet.
oh, I know you guys don't quite understand visions, but that one is a bit vague and it was awful, horrible. I know what she's feeling. We do need to help her. She's trapped here. She's not gonna say anything.
I disagree.
And the
I
sound
I
think
of
there's
can
some
footsteps ascending the stairs, quick and small and light, before Lucy appears in your doorway again.
stand up, ma'am.
John will see.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we just follow me. She leads you back down the stairs, out the back door to the sprawling wraparound porch. where John is seated in a chair, kind of rocking back and forth, the pistol in his lap again. His cheeks a little pink from being out in the sun. The rest of his skin kind of like that ashy tone of just being older. Straw hat pulled down real deep on his forehead.
As soon as we walk up, I try to go the old friendly. Good evening, Mr. Bell.
What do y'all want?
Well, we are one of a number of groups who have been sent out from our town to try to find other sources of food to help keep the town together until such time as we can replant our crops that were destroyed.
Let me rephrase.
Yes, sir.
What'll it take to get you off my property the fastest?
Uh, whatever you can spare for our town to help us keep children from starving and
Let me tell you something. He
yes, sir.
like clears his throat. One hand on the pistol, the other hand on the arm of the chair. The Bell family farm is a cornerstone of Adams. We are Adams. And what we grow here is for Adams. So what can you do to benefit Adams and make us look good? Because we gotta explain why we are down in production to help some strangers.
Well, I don't know very much about Adams, I will fully admit, but I have yet to find a town that did not benefit from at least somebody having modest amount of knowledge about how to run a still. I'm not sure of the laws of Adams, so I can't say whether or not they would be appreciative, but I do know that my grandfather taught me enough moonshining so I could do it for a living if I needed to. Perhaps they could find use for that skill, or perhaps you could say that you have decided to open up a still and try to help out, keep the people of Adams not just happy but warm.
Hmm. Well, that's not much
In
of use to me
addition,
here. He kind of like side eyes
how
to
about
Ruth as she starts talking.
what about a second blacksmith?
Who, your husband?
Me.
He
My husband
scoffs.
works wood. I assure you, sir, I'm a very good blacksmith.
I don't care about your assurances. There's no way in hell.
I could show you a sample of her work if you'd like.
I don't want to see her work. Only thing I want to see of her is her pretty smile.
Oh, she will begrudgingly give him a pretty smile.
Good thing there's no rage
Well,
checks in this
flipping him
game.
off in her mind. Yeah, well, flipping him off in her mind. Yeah, yeah.
He folds his arms across his chest, rocking for like a long time. Staring off into the distance, occasionally eyes flicking side to side. He seems to be thinking. Do any of you try to interrupt?
Viv's gritting their teeth. They know that if they do what they want to do, they're going to cause a lot more problems than they just stay and be quiet and
Yeah,
wait.
Ruth is just being quiet too. Yeah.
I'm racking my brain trying to think of things that might help. Well,
Shh. And he goes back to thinking. Maybe 7 minutes of entire silence and rocking later, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when no one is talking. It's an eternity.
Mm-hmm.
He snaps his fingers. You know what I want? I figured it out.
Sir?
Little ways down that way. He gestures down the road in the direction of, the majority of Adams. My neighbor, the Fitzpatrick's. Just distaste dripping from his tone. They got about 100 acres. Butting up against mine. I want it. Y'all convince them dirty Fitzpatricks to sell, or preferably give me that 100 acres of land. Will help.
If I may ask, I'm assuming that you've made attempts to offer to sell before.
Ugh, no. Why would I talk to them?
Do they know of your intention to buy the land?
No.
So you want us to either negotiate or run them off for you? Okay.
Y'all come in here wanting to talk, go talk.
How much help are we talking about, sir?
Not enough to support a whole town, but I'll keep y'all going for a few months. Probably good enough for a third of what y'all need.
Would be quite generous. I'll, do you have anybody who happens to know of them that we could talk to so we can get some, better understanding of who we'll be dealing with for leverage, negotiation tactics?
I don't know anybody who talks to them.
I don't know, it's what the bosses on the railroad always said whenever they're trying to get somebody to sell out. First thing they do is they go and they ask everybody with their neighbors and get all the dirty laundry they could. Then they could hold that over the head and drive the price down.
Well, they're a menace. And they're on land I
Oh,
won't.
a menace how? Are they harming you in some way?
Hmm. I don't like them. And they're on land I won't.
I'll see what can be done.
You better hurry up. You're gonna want to be back inside by sundown.
Something happened at sundown?
We're
Supposed to
surrounded
rain?
by woods. You ought to know better than that.
We better be on our way then. Tip my hat.
I'll even give him a little curtsy as I leave.
He seems so pleased by that, Ruth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's just doing the Lord's work, making sure women know their place.
Raviv ignores that John is there, If Raviv happens to look in that direction, it's as if he's looking at what's behind John, not at John.
Okay.
Silent, though, not saying anything. Just
Do you guys walk down the road or do you hop back in the wagon?
How far how far is it that he gestured?
It's probably a little less than a mile. It's a distance. You can
100
kind of
acres.
see where just obey. I promise not to. You can kind of see where the next house over is, so you can guess that is probably where they are. It's a much smaller home, kind of painted red.
We
Single
might
single
see more
story. Lot.
We might seem more respectful if we arrive in a wagon rather than just walk up.
Plus, considering the time constraints, we probably need to be on our way.
Hmm.
You do not have a lot of time.
Uh, hop in the wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
We'll drive to their house.
All right. It only takes a few minutes to get there. You pull
Anybody
up
else
there.
really, really hate that guy?
We're not gonna help him, right? There's no
Well,
way we help that.
depends on his definition of help. If he's willing to pay for it, we can get a reasonable price. It's worth at
W-
least asking about. But
We
if you're
could see
asking
what
me,
uh, we
go
could
ahead.
see what the this family has if they're farmers and they have 100 acres of land and they can help.
And perhaps we buy from them.
Perhaps, yeah.
It would be one in the eye to that old bastard.
Hmm.
You
Let's at least
you can tell just by looking at it that the Bells probably have 3 times as much land. And as you're driving
Ooh,
toward the Fitzpatrick's property, you can clearly see like about 20 feet of untilled, unused land that separates their property. When John said they were like butting up against each other, they are right there.
mm,
You can see stalks of corn. You can see like a field of wheat. You see like a barn off in the distance, but not a lot of pastures, not a lot of land for livestock. It seems like maybe they have a couple of horses and that's it.
do the crops seem to be doing about as well here as they are over on the Bell Place, or better or worse?
They don't seem quite as mature. Like maybe the Bells had a month's jump on germination or seedlings or something like that. But they're not too far off. Like health wise, they seem about as healthy.
Well, if they're willing to sell, perhaps we can find a better price here. But let's at least meet everybody before we start laying out too many plans.
of course.
I admit it does gall me. That man does gall me something awful. Reminds
I
me way too.
believe that murder is frowned upon in this part of the state.
Who said anything about murder? Man go missing all the time. But again, that's for later. I will say if there is a reasonable bargain to be struck here, I do believe that it would not be wrong of us to try to make it happen. No pressure tactics, just asking a question.
As you pull up to the Fitzpatrick home, there is a woman with sort of salt and pepper hair, dark hair, kind of beating a rug on the front porch. She stops and stares at your wagon as you come to the stop.
Good evening.
You like from around here, huh?
No,
And
ma'am.
as she talks, she has just the slightest of an accent, maybe like Glenn's, maybe other European. But she is not from around here, originally, obviously.
Would this be the Fitzpatrick home?
Hey, who are you?
My name is Cleaver Highsmith.
I don't
My
know any
companion.
Highsmiths.
You do now.
Aren't you clever?
Well, my mother did try to teach me right.
And your friends?
Introduction. Introduction.
We're
Well,
not
Because I
trying
can't
I'm
to
gonna
remember your
live.
last names.
we're not looking for a new
Mm,
religion.
mm.
So you can be on your
Well,
way.
fantastic. Fantastic. I'm not offering one.
What are you selling then?
More if I'm asking. We're from a town, gives the name and directions. The other day, a- about 3/4 of our crops were lost. Or not. I've heard many a story as to the reason, but at the end of the day, hungry bellies is hungry bellies. We were trying to figure out if anybody around here might be willing to sell us some extra supplies until we can get our crops replanted and hopefully get some more in by the fall.
Well, we mainly farm for ourselves.
We would be willing to pay.
That's mighty fair of you.
Well, in the interest of honesty, we did ask the gentleman up the road too. I
Mm.
believe his name was Mr. Bell. Yes.
Ah, right. Well, if we're all being honest with each other, that's largely why we keep this for ourselves.
Because he
Oh.
wouldn't share, or
No. We didn't want to give our money to him. It's a bit of a shit.
oh,
He is a horrible old person, isn't he? Well, I
Ornery.
wouldn't call him a person.
But he's definitely a person, but not one I want to support.
he did not strike me as a particularly kind individual.
He's
No,
more of a monster, isn't he?
I don't know about that. He is annoying though.
It reminds me too much of my pa back whenever he had a bit too much of the drink in him.
Oh, that sounds like a whole
What
story. Uh,
isn't it? The reason we're asking, and I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this question, but just so that way I can say I did it. Y'all wouldn't be willing to sell your 100 acres to him, would you?
100 acres. Hmm. She just laughs and gestures for you to come inside, head shaking the whole time. Much like
Follow her.
much like the boathouse, you hear like the sounds of kids doing kids stuff, playing in a different room, getting things ready for dinner. You vaguely smell meat smells as you walk in. At the table, a man, dark hair, not a hint of gray in it, but he does look notably older, looks up, and the woman thumbs over her shoulder at you guys. We picked up some new friends. Seems like they hate the bells as much as we do.
And to think I barely know him.
The man at the table kind of scoffs, props his feet up, nods his head. It's not really a reason to stop by and see your neighbors, but nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Introduction.
I'm Ward. It's my wife, Ornida.
That's a lovely name.
Mhm.
If I so I spoke to your lady wife, and I'll tell you the same. We're from a town a couple hours from here. About 3/4 of our crops got destroyed the other night. I've heard a multitude of stories as to why, but honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. They're gone.
You can say it. I heard you through the door.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go then.
Mm. I'll offer you the same deal I made the Baskins on the other side of us when they tried to buy us out. $3 an acre.
$3 an acre.
$3 an acre.
And how many acres?
They've got 120. I'll sell 100.
100, $300. Sounds about fair. I'll ask you, sir.
I'll choose 100. Obviously, the ones button up against his property are the ones he wants, but I don't trust him not to be petty and try to take our home.
I wouldn't trust that man as far as I can throw him.
He's a shite.
If
So I'll,
for some reason he wasn't in town anymore, how would you feel about having his property if, maybe if there's a vacuum and it becomes available?
I don't want his property.
No, his property.
I know
The
what you
Bell
said. I don't want
property.
it.
Don't
We've
want
got
it?
enough for us here.
enough is as much as a feast, my ma used to say.
Your ma seems pretty wise.
Would
Mm,
I be wrong in assuming that nobody here in this town really likes the Bells? They sound like, well, Mr. Bell. His wife seems lovely.
The town seems to like him fine. He's a grumpy old man. He's taken as a grumpy old man. But he's done a lot for the town, and they respect him.
so just because it's only fair that I ask everyone the same question. Would you be willing to help us get supplies in our current position? I admit you do seem quite a bit nicer to deal with.
I'll tell you what, we're not really in a place to be large scale harvesting at this point. We can send you away with a couple days worth, but that's about it right now.
Okay. And in the future, by chance?
Depends on what Mother Nature brings us, huh?
If you knew in advance that there'd be folks looking to buy your food specifically for the next few months, would that change any of the way that you planted? I hate to say it, I'm not a farmer, so I don't know.
What's done is done. We got the fall crops coming up, but that doesn't help you much now, does it?
Unfortunately, no. You've been quite honest with us. I'll be quite honest with you. Mr. Bell said he'd be willing to offer us a third of what we need to keep the town going if we were to find some way to get 100 acres of your land that he could buy or have.
Hmm? Doesn't surprise me over the long haul. That's a sound investment. $3 an
Oh,
acre.
$300 sounds pretty fair for a farm. I look over at my companions trying to get a rough estimate because I have no fucking clue.
He can't have it until after the season. Obviously, we've already planted. But
Fair.
come the fall, we'll draw the lines.
And you and your family would be here on 20. Is there any particular reason he doesn't like folks like us, outsiders?
Much about the attitude around here, isn't it?
First time I saw that man, he pulled a gun on me.
Were you on his land?
I,
Ah, well,
not on purpose.
doesn't matter.
He's one of those folks who just,
You're
his
lucky you didn't shoot
property.
first.
Well, Miss Katie was there and talked him down.
We also had children with us.
That, that did strike me pretty wrong. I actually had to ask him to point the gun at me instead of near the children. Look, if he could have, he would have hauled off and shot me just because he could.
He's got a bit of a temper, but who's to tell him no?
You know, looks over at Ruth, looks over at Reviv. Honestly, if I weren't here, if I weren't here on behalf of others, I might,
Well, you don't have to live
because
here, so
no,
don't
I
do
don't,
anything crazy.
which is why I didn't do anything. What happened to them? Because they said they expanded in the past few years. Everything over there looks a bit too new and a bit too shiny.
They struck up a deal with some folk in town.
A deal. A deal for what?
Business? They got a bit of a, what do they call it? Advance?
In advance.
Town pulled together money. They got themselves some land. Started building. The first couple of years were rough, I hear. But, all of a sudden they got their feet under them.
Just like that.
Not just like that. See him out there working. They work hard for it. You're just an asshole.
Well, I get the feeling he doesn't treat his wife very well either.
Well, some of us don't know much better. Some of us don't have wives to keep us in line, right? And she just kind of chuckles as she tends to the stove.
My pa would have called him a man desperately in need of a good arse whooping.
Well, he's old, so sooner or later, Father Time will take care of it for you.
Who takes over after him? Does he have children or just go to his wife, or
No, he's got plenty of sons.
are they all as bad as him?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't deal with him often.
Seems wise.
It's
Hmm.
easier.
Never understand why some people can't just leave others in peace. Miss Ruth, did you have anything else that you were thinking of?
Aside from the likelihood of him buying up the entire town and change the name to Bells, uh, no, other than offering in addition to the $300, should you need any forge work done, I'll offer my services.
Oh, you're a blacksmith.
I am.
I
Good to
mean,
know.
if you'd like help, I know how to run a ship. I know quite a bit about how to run a still. My grandpappy taught me that one, and I'm happy to help anybody set up an operation.
I'm as big a fan of booze as next, but I have no interest in owning a business. It's me and my family here. We're fine.
Hmm. Has
Ruth
Belle
is
ever
totally
asked you?
not look. Sorry. Little side note. Ruth is totally not looking around to see if this family has any sons that might be Catherine's age, or daughters that might be Thomas's age.
Just
Just
roaming around in like constant motion. Like
matchmaking for future
they have
possibilities.
like 6 kids, half of which
Oh
are
God.
boys, at least one of which is teenage.
Hmm.
They also have a teenage daughter. Probably between like 16 and 6.
Oh, okay.
a range of children.
Wide enough to be as much trouble as possible.
Hmm.
Mr. Bell's never come over here and asked about buying your land, though.
Asked about it, no. Been kind of passive aggressive about it, sure. Complaining all over our town how much more he'd be able to produce if he had my land. Turning minds and hearts and whatnot. Minor hassle, at best, though.
Does the town know better? Or are there those he's paying to say that?
Well, I don't know about payment. I know it's been brought up a time or two every time we go into town. That's why it's nice to have enough of our own space and our own food that we don't have to do it very often.
I'm surprised he hasn't tried anything.
Nothing we know of. They don't bother anyone. And most of this town is good people.
Find most people are when given the chance. How? Heaven help me, I cannot decide. That man does not strike me as the kind of person to just give up whenever he set his sights on something, but then again, that man also strikes me as the kind of person that people only deal with a fat coin purse. Hmm.
Well, you've got an offer to take back to him.
I do. And thank you for your time. If he gives me a counteroffer, would you like me to bring it, or should I simply tell him that you're gonna stand firm?
You're welcome to come back with it if you want a good laugh. Otherwise, $3 an acre. What's the offer?
Yes, sir. Thank you for your time, sir, ma'am.
She like waves goodbye.
As we get in the wagon, am I the only person who thinks that there's some extra level here that we don't know about?
Well, it sounds pretty cut and dry. He's good to the town, supplies a lot of food, but he doesn't seem very good to his wife.
He's a racist bastard who just hates people just because they're not from here.
I also get the impression that even if he did pay the $300, he would be moving in on the acreage immediately.
He
But
doesn't
if we
strike me as
don't
a
help
patient man.
him, the people in our town might starve.
You do know that even if the Fitzpatrick's crops came in and they were willing to give you like even half of them, that would not be as much as a third of Bell's.
Well,
Not even close.
it's real easy to have opinions when it's not your stomach that's going to be going empty. I suppose we should go back and tell him what they said.
Seems to be
I
our
just
only choice.
I just can't
Mhm.
help but feeling like there's something here that we're missing. Something that would turn this on its ear.
Well, maybe this town has a Kate of their own, some wise woman somewhere around town we could find. Most places do.
Mayhap, mayhap. But if we're gonna be
I can
sleeping
always
underneath the old, hmm?
I can always see if I can get Mrs. Bell to talk a bit, woman to woman. See if that would garner us anything.
Well, if we're gonna be sleeping underneath that bastard's roof, we better hurry up and get back. I don't know quite what he meant by be back by sundown, but apparently these woods are a bit wilder than the ones back home.
Just to be clear, so I know, did I not bring my wagon with me?
You did not.
Okay.
You all drove together in the one.
Well, I'd hate to get
Alright.
his wife in more trouble than she probably already is in, so probably should head back. About how long is left until sunset?
There's like a sliver of light over the horizon. Like you could pretty safely get back to the Bell's house, but that it would be really dark after that.
I don't know what it is, but some part of this just strikes me really odd. Oh well, let's get back and see what good we can do.
All right, so back to the Bell house. Lucy is waiting on the front porch. She probably has been waiting there since you guys left.
Ruth, do you want to try your approach with her?
Uh, Absolutely. I will also offer my services in the kitchen if need be for whatever need she would need around the house.
It somewhat strikes me that Mr. Bell probably wouldn't have much interest in whatever womanly discussions would be going on.
Hmm.
Seems a bit of a blind spot for him.
Especially if the two of you keep him entertained.
You know, I was thinking something just along those lines and discussing business or what have you. Let's see what can be done. And walk up the stairs to Miss Bell.
The second your feet hit uh, the front porch, she suddenly smiles. John's gone off to bed. It's been a very long day for him. So, I suppose y'all are stuck here till the morning. Did you, find anything out?
We did. Had a nice conversation, actually.
Oh, well, isn't that nice?
Miss Bell, may I ask a question? And forgive me if it seems impertinent, but why why is your husband so dead set on that land instead of any of the other land around this farm?
Oh, well, we haven't much been able to expand in that direction. We picked up acres here and there everywhere else. The, well, I'm sure you know the land to the north of here gets awfully rocky and unfarmable up in the caves. So,
Hmm. I I remember those caves, yes, ma'am.
so, yeah, we gotta go off to the sides, and we've already picked up quite a few acres to the east. So, since we built our house, we want to pick up some to the west. So we're nice in the middle of things.
It struck me that if with you expanding this farm so recently, I'm surprised you felt the need to expand again.
Well, there's
I mean, I'm
always room
sure
for progress, isn't there?
room for sometimes, yes, ma'am. Pause for.
Well, if we'd already had them 100 acres, we wouldn't have a problem helping y'all out. We'd have plenty of food.
That's probably true.
So
I'm
it's a
not,
shame
yeah,
it's hopefully come a little late.
well, it's depend upon whether or not Mr. Bell is willing to accept their price.
Well, okay. Got a price. Well, excellent. Y'all should do some solid talking, don't you?
Every now and again, yes, ma'am.
Well, if you're hungry, everyone else is eating, so we can get you fed and up to bed.
That would be quite nice, thank you.
Okay, very well. She'll lead you back inside. All of the kids. Some of them in their 20s, as young as, probably guess, maybe Thomas's age. She fills
Mhm.
some plates, hands them over. Wine to the grown-ups. She kind of hesitates before giving some to Reviv because she's not really sure how old Reviv is.
Oh, it's okay. I don't drink anyways.
And nods and just continues on, doling out food and drinks.
If I can ask a question, just something that came up in the other when we were over there. Do many people come around trying to peddle new religions around here?
Now and then.
Huh.
There's two whole
Okay.
churches over there in Adams, so sometimes it seems like they're feuding.
Oh, heavens. What are they, the Methodists and the Baptists, or Catholics and the Protestants, or
Well, I don't really know. I think there's quite a few Catholics over that way, and then Baptists. I think if I had to guess, that sounds familiar.
hmm,
We just we just pray to God here. Don't really worry about the details too much.
I can understand that. Hmm.
You don't leave the property often, do you?
Oh no, every once in a while I gotta go to town to pick up some supplies, but well, mostly our sons and our help. They bring things into town to sell and come back with supplies. So I just take care of things here.
Do you not have a problem with having so much acreage that keeping it safe at night?
What do you mean keeping it safe at night?
Well, it's something that Mr. Bell said. He said that we needed to be back by sundown because it wasn't safe out here at night. I mean, I understand the woods are the woods, and you know, I've been amongst the trees most of my life, but I never knew any creature to be that strict about sundown.
No, it's just real dark around here. It's hard to see very far ahead of you. We've got some dogs and keep things in check, but there's bears and wolves and foxes and all kinds of stuff out in their woods.
And that having that much land to keep an eye on doesn't bother you? You don't have problems with wild pigs or deer or anything like that?
Yeah, we do now and again. We do what we can to keep them away. Nothing's perfect, just like you said. Sometimes deer are a problem.
No, that's what they told me. I got a cousin down in Arkansas said something about these gigantic pigs.
Hmm.
Wild pigs been running ruckus through everybody's farms, causing all kinds of mayhem.
We don't have a huge problem with pigs around here, but deer and wolves and foxes. Lost 2 chickens to foxes just last week.
Hmm.
Any unnatural problems? The only reason I ask is not too long ago we were traveling to Mitchellville and I overheard one of the locals talking about ghosts and
Hey, T Boogie.
curiosity
Howdy,
was piqued.
howdy. Ghosts? I can't say we have a
Did
whole lot of ghosts around here.
something about the word haint came up, didn't it?
Hmm.
I'm not sure what the difference is.
No, I don't really think we have haints or ghosts or nothing around here. At least nothing that I've seen.
And
Aside for one boogeyman.
What boogeyman?
She just sort of glances up at the ceiling.
No, he's harmless.
He carries a pistol.
Well, maybe he does a little harm. But I don't remember the last time he's actually used it.
I remember I remember looking down the chamber of that one not too long ago. A few days ago actually. Seemed in pretty good order then.
He keeps him neat and clean and in working order, but that don't mean he's ready to pull the trigger.
You know, when you were saying about how the land gets rocky up near those caves up north, I remember that's where we wound up coming out whenever we found those kids. Is there any chance there's any I don't know, anything underground that might be useful? Coal, copper, tin?
Don't rightly know. Sounds like much more something you'd know about.
I didn't really have a lot of time to be looking, and honestly, I don't like looking where I'm not invited. But that being said, it
Well,
seems to me that if he wanted to try to buy more land up north when he's got those caves already laid, there might chance be something in them that might be useful. Really set
well,
this town up proper.
that ain't the that ain't the land he wants right now. And he won't change what he wants till he gets what he wants.
And then after he gets what he wants, he'll have his eye on something else.
He wants something different. Mm-hmm.
Just like my cousin Randy. Loved horses. Absolutely loved racing them. Find the fastest horse, train it as best he could, and then the second he won something, he'd go into the barn and try to find another. Some people you just can't ever catch what you're after.
Well, if you keep chasing things you don't really need, you never find what you do.
What do you think people need?
I wouldn't know.
I think you would.
Family. I think family's all I need.
A loving, supportive family. I know men who would kill for less. Hell, I know men who have killed for less. Brian.
Well, it seems to be getting late. We should head up to bed soon, huh?
Yeah, my kids will be going down soon. I gotta get up with the sun.
I'm assuming Mr. Bell will be up around that time. Probably when it talks to us about the offer we got.
And you'd best be up before he is, so I'll make sure to wake you.
Oh,
You wouldn't want to be left waiting.
oh, I can be kind of grouchy in the morning too. Oh well. Come on, Reviv. Let's go get everything laid out upstairs. Miss Ruth, did you say you had to? You guys said you needed to speak with Miss Bell about something. I'm not entirely
Uh,
sure.
I'll just help Lucy clean up the table, wash the dishes, and put things away as they should be.
And she'll just kind of work in quiet as you help along. And when everything's done, she'll nod and, well, thank you, Ruth.
Is there, between us two women, is there anything I should know that you're afraid that you don't want the menfolk or your husband to hear about? I swear I will tell not a soul.
None I can think of. You said you're friends with Kate.
I am.
She's an odd one,
She's
isn't she?
she's an odd one, but she's a good one. She's helped my family more than a few times. How does when we were here last, it seemed that Kate and your husband knew each other. Do they have a history of sorts?
Yeah, we've both known her for quite some time. I don't even remember how we met exactly. One of those people that just wanders in and never quite forget her.
Do you know how long you've known her?
Feels like maybe 10 years or so.
Mhm.
John doesn't like her
Uh,
much, but,
mm.
well, I'm sure you can tell why.
But I'm assuming your relationship has been good for the most part. No troubles.
Well, I like her fine.
But your husband doesn't. He doesn't seem the type to like unmarried, independent women who have just that bit of sass to them.
No. He thinks she needs to find a husband to get her life together and to learn some respect and to
Well,
make something of herself.
I will try to see what I can do just to allay his own concerns.
Well, best of luck there.
Hmm. But
Go on up to bed. I'll get you in the morning.
all right. Should you think of anything that we should know, feel free to tell me. And Ruth will go on up to the guest room.
Just stay in the room till I come and get you.
Will do.
All right. And she seems like relieved. Just a bit before she turns to return to her chores. You head back up the stairs.
I got nothing out of them other than the fact that they know Kate for about 10 years.
Hmm, okay.
Well, I'm sure Kate could tell us more about it, but she's not here
Mm,
right now.
mm.
Only
No.
when you need her is she gone, right?
Well, I mean, we're
Oh,
not in town. Oh, and Lucy did say that we're not to leave the room until she comes to retrieve us in the morning.
Well, for
Is
her
that
sake, we
right?
should probably stay in here.
Is that right? Hmm.
You're planning on sneaking out, aren't you?
Me?
Yes.
I don't think there's anything underhanded about a man needing to find the outhouse.
Well, Cleaver, you should try to stay in here. I've known men like John that he won't do anything to you. He'll see it as a failure of Lucy's. He'll hurt her more than he has already.
Fun.
I'm sure we can listen.
Reviv, I'm gonna ask you a question, and I want you to know that even though you and I do not always see eye to eye on many things, I genuinely do value your friendship. What help do you think you'll be doing that woman by leaving her as she is? It
I'm
could
just
get
saying
worse, you're
we
right.
need to take a moment and assess things and figure out what we can do without causing more harm. Right now, we're not totally in control.
No, quite on purpose. Men like him, men like some of the people I've known, they need that control. They need to feel powerful. Some do it through money, some do it through physical strength, skill in arms, some do it by using religion, make themselves feel superior. And some do it because they will hit and beat anything that is smaller, anything that is weaker, or anything that won't fight right back. You say things might get worse. You're right. It might. But Lord, think about how easy it is for things to get just even the littlest bit better. There's problems here need solving. I don't know what they are yet, but I can feel it. Something here ain't right. And if all I do is go to the bathroom, excuse me, go to the outhouse and come back in the middle of the night and I don't see anything, then I don't see anything. Can't be blamed on her. She told us not to. What's she supposed to do? Sit guard outside our door every night?
Suppose not. Just try to be careful, okay?
I'm always careful. Walk through a water moccasin nest more than once and you'll learn all about careful.
Just ask Glenn. So, what is it just Kleber who intends to sneak out as the night wears on, or is someone going with him?
I'm gonna stay in the room. I mean, I will listen for things to see if I hear anything odd, but I, as a delicate and demure female sort, will not at all disobey the lord and master of this house. So,
Okay.
What a damn shame nobody warned me about that, and she didn't say a word to me about that while I was in her presence.
All right. And Reviv, you're staying put in the room too.
Yes.
How long do you wait, Kleber?
Uh, I'll say about an hour and a half.
About an hour and a half.
Long enough for the sounds of the house to have settled down, not to hear very much, not to hear any footsteps for a good while. enough to let the household hopefully be asleep.
Okay. Then you actually end up having to wait closer to 2.5 hours.
Well, okay.
Every now and then you hear quiet footsteps or a young voice ask for something, or Lucy had to lead one of her youngest back to bed, and eventually it seems that Lucy goes back to bed as well. Um, roll perception, everyone, please. Okay. Reviv and Ruth, about the time that the rest of the house noises settle down, both of you hear footsteps heading down the hallway, then down the stairs, and the quietest click. That is probably, if you had to guess, the back door being opened.
Uh,
I've been staring out the window all night, just sitting by it, looking outside. I don't know if it's on
yeah.
the same side and if I would see them walking through the yard.
You do, the window to your room does face out to the rest of the farm. So you would see. It's like a gibbous moon, so there's some moonlight that you can see out from. But it's just kind of the faintest shadows of everything as you look out. Were you going to say something,
Yep.
Ruth?
Um, just then I'll sit up and look out the window as well, keeping back just in case whoever this person is looks back, just to make sure they don't see our face.
Okay. After a while, you are able to see the frame of a man. If you had to guess, maybe it was John or one of his older sons heading out of the house and across the fields toward the barn, or one of the barns. Just taking the
Do
quickest route he can, walking through fields or.
I just know Kleber's gonna follow him out there.
I do believe that is my cue.
Yeah, looks like the outhouse is in the barn.
Whether it's in the barn or not, I do know Miss Lucy was quite insistent that we shut down the idea of the men folks sleeping in the barn, which, perfectly honest, did strike me as kind of strange.
Hmm.
If anything goes wrong, I'm gonna take off my amulet because it's not charged right now. I'm gonna cast Foxfire on it. I'm gonna have my hands around it so it doesn't light up the room or anything. Keep this under your shirt. If anything happens, throw it out and we'll see the light. We'll know there's trouble.
Everyone watching
Okay.
out the window can see him pull open the door to the barn, step inside.
Man, that pop filter worked great. Okay. I, as slowly and quietly as possible, with all my crazy training and everything, follow him as quietly and unobtrusively as possible.
Okay, roll stealth.
Really hoping I have stealth.
Stealth or sneaking.
Uh, other skill it is. Yeah, pretty sure you knew that one. Oh God,
Ooh.
no. No.
Ooh.
As you open the back door, just the hinges squeak so loud you feel the echo out into the
Mhm.
fields.
I then close it right back as if I have done nothing wrong. And since I know which way he went, and I know which way the outhouse is. Probably in different directions, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
I make a beeline towards the outhouse in case anybody's looking.
Roll speed. Everybody else says you, I assume, watch out the back window to see what's gonna happen here. You hear the sound of the door open. Like, oh god. And immediately you see Kleber just booking it across the fields, tripping a little on a root, but it doesn't matter. It's like he glides, just darting for the outhouse about the time that whoever is outside pokes their head out of the barn. They seem to stare back toward the house for several seconds, and then they duck back inside.
Do we hear any footsteps in the house?
You don't.
Seems no one in the house other than us noticed that. Surprisingly.
And here I was thinking that Kleber would be the quieter of us three.
Yeah, with how much time he spends in the woods, I think he'd be a bit more cautious and less noisy, but hey, I guess he doesn't understand doors that well.
He doesn't seem to encounter those in the wild. We should change that. We should just put random doors in the woods for him to find.
Obstacle course. As the two of you kind of gossip in the window, just good naturedly trash talking the woodsman out there.
Or
Eventually, you see. You really want to stop me right now? Eventually, you see the same shortish male figure walk back out of the barn, door propped open, backwards, half hunched over. And as you watch for a moment, you realize it looks like he is dragging something heavy behind him. Whatever he's dragging, he doesn't return to the house. Instead, he starts to haul a path toward the silos in the center of the property.
Taking grain to the silos in the middle of the night. But I guess he said he liked to get up and work early.
Can I tell what shape it is that he's dragging? Like, is it a bag? Is it small? Is it large? Is it body shaped?
Roll me perception. We'll see how good you can get a look at it. Reviv, you can roll as well. Kleber, how long you hiding out in the outhouse before hazarding a lookout? Oh heck yeah.
few minutes.
Wow.
Take that nat 20.
Ruth, you can tell it is longer than it is wide. Maybe a little bit longer than the person carrying it themselves. It seems pretty heavy for the size that it is, and Reviv, that's definitely a body. Like that is 100% body shaped.
Ruth, we need to go out there now. I'm going to take my foxfire off of the amulet so Kleber knows something's up, hopefully. I didn't tell him anything about that. I'm just going to go out the door. Quietly, but not slowly.
I will let Reviv get a little bit of a head start, and after waiting a bit, I will follow suit.
I'll have Kleber's
Quietly.
hatchet that he gave me tightly gripped in my good hand, my left hand.
Okay. Kleber, about the time that everyone else leaves the sight line of the window, you kind of poke your head out and you watch in the distance this man, probably either John Jr. or John Sr., one of the older males in this household, pull out a set of keys, unlock a silo door, and then grunt very quietly as he heaves something heavy and long into the opening of the silo. You hear kind of like a rustle of a thump as it hits bottom. And then he just closes the door and locks it back up.
While that person is busy locking things up, I try to sneak my way into the barn that he left, looking around for any possibility of clue or other such thing.
It is basically totally across a good chunk of the property. So if you do decide to go to the barn, you're going to miss
Mhm.
out on probably like 10 minutes worth of stuff.
Didn't realize it was that far away.
It is a full detour.
Okay. Can I How close would it be for me to cut the trail of the guy who was dragging something?
Like to intercept him?
To the closest line from where I am to the trail he drug. Like, just to see, is there blood on the ground? Does it have a smell? Anything like that?
Got you. It would probably be the only way you could definitely do that without getting caught at this juncture is to wait for him to move on from where he is.
Okay.
Because you would have to walk clean across.
All right. In that case, I shall wait outside the outhouse, using the outhouse as cover, because I do not want to be in there if that guy has to take the lead.
Okay. He does not, in fact, have to take a leak. As he finishes up at the silo, he just turns around and heads right back.
Sound like me now.
I would be trying to intercept this guy on his
He,
way back.
no need to try.
And
He turns around and heads directly back for the house, coming to a stop when he spots Reviv and presumably Ruth as they just tunnel out of the house.
I'm just gonna straight charge him and tackle and try to cover his mouth.
Okay. Roll might.
I'm gonna put an effort into it.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot to click the effort on it.
It's fine. It just lowers your difficulty. That's not enough. You double forward, putting all of your effort into it, like feet grinding on the ground, launching yourself through the air, and all of a sudden you hit earth. The wind knocked from your chest. You find yourself gasping for breath. Since everyone's got a harm lined up, that was going to cause 1 damage as you just
No.
wheeze and struggle.
It's just standing by like, wow, good job,
No.
Revith.
Well,
What?
I mean,
What is Ruth
seeing
doing?
you completely whiff that tackle, it'll be my turn to try to tackle because I'm sure if I don't, you know, whoever this is will yell or scream or run back to the house and grab a gun. So we don't need that.
Okay.
All right. So let's see how well I can do if I can. Right. Let's do an effort. Wow.
Okay. You immediately follow suit, just dirt kicking up behind you, like skirt flying through the air, hair flying through the air. You Superman launch yourself at this mystery figure, and suddenly he's not there anymore either. You don't hit the ground quite as flat as Reviv does, but you think you might have knocked your shoulder out of place. Pain shoots
Mm.
down, not just from your shoulder, but your fingers burn and tingle, and you roll across the grass.
That's my forging arm. Ow.
Take a harm,
Hmm.
and both of you hear the click of what is probably a weapon. As the door behind you opens up again. Kleber, what are you doing?
At this point, I am trying to slowly creep my way closer. Uh, really working on trying to get as close as I can, so I can either hear what's going on or possibly uh involve myself if necessary.
Okay. Roll stealth.
Ah, yes, stealth, that thing that I have so very much of.
You can't see very clearly because you're a little ways off, but you absolutely see two figures launch themselves at this mystery man and just hit the ground as he dodges and weaves. Like some combination of them just being poor at aiming their own bodies in the darkness and him being a little faster than they were remotely expecting. You see the door open again, and at least one other person step out, the glint of metal in the moonlight indicating perhaps they have a weapon on them. And Reviv and Ruth, as you glance up from the ground, looking up at this person in the moonlight, you see his washed out face, crepey skin, white hair. John Bell Sr. pulls a pistol from the back of his belt and levels it at Ruth's head. Get the hell off my property. I won't ask twice.
And how close did I get to that to John Bell Sr.?
Not close enough to attack yet.
Am I within thrown weapon range?
No, you are still probably like 50 to 60 feet off.
I keep it creeping.
Give me a speed. Lieber.
Jesus.
You see a flash from off toward the house. Just a second before you feel the impact of something hot. Just a little off center. Directly below your collarbone, it burns and it stings, and you feel the heat of blood pooling around it as you find yourself shot. That'll be 4. Take 4 damage.
Does that put me into impaired?
I don't know. Does it take your might down to 0?
No, it does not.
I don't know.
So no, it does not. Owl. Very, very owl.
Viv, Ruth, what are y'all doing?
Um, what's Ruth doing?
Uh, well, right now clutching her arm in pain because it's either broken or dislocated. Um, and so was it John Sr. who dragged the body into the silo?
Sure looks like him.
Okay. Uh, really, you would shoot a child? because comparatively, Reviv is a child.
He like tilts his head a little to one side and then adjusts his aim to Reviv, as though to answer your question, sassy woman. You got 5 seconds. And that's my promise. As he nods to the two figures, two of his sons, who are in the doorway of the porch. One of them has already fired at Kleber.
You don't even want to hear the offer we had from the Fitzpatricks?
No.
You you went to bed before we even got back. It's a bit rude.
And you didn't go to bed. 4.
Dagger.
Roll me
Pretending to be
speed.
way more. Pretending to be way, way, way more hurt than I am.
Roll me speed.
God damn.
You see a flash from the other side of the doorway as someone else fires at you. This one straight into the center of your thigh meat. You drop down to your knees as blood gushes from the wound. You don't think you can put any weight on it. That'll be 6 harm. And you are no longer able to creep at remotely the same speed.
How how close am I to John Sr.?
How close are you?
Yeah.
You're like pretty much at his feet.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Do I do
It says
something stupid?
fully.
And okay, naturally, I'm assuming that I've heard the gunshots and Kleber yelling.
Yep,
Okay.
sure do. Oh, look at Pierce loading you guys up with redeems as he's on his way out the door. I'll take care of those in a second.
All right.
Thank you, Pierce.
You win. We will leave your property. Let me collect my friend over there who has been shot, and we will leave.
3. Kleber, roll me a recovery dice. Cool. Heal 3.
Okay.
And I will tell, because
Thank you,
basically right now
Pierce.
we're unless anyone else has any plans, we're kind of screwed. We have to do what he says. I'll just tell Reviv get into the cart. I'll grab Kleber.
Okay. Does anyone else have any ideas that they would like to?
I know what you've done, John Bell.
Roll me speed. You roll out of the way just as a bullet echoes from the chamber of John's gun. You feel the spray of dirt as it hits exactly where your head was a minute ago.
A curse upon you and your name. Rain will make your land swell, John Bell, until you and your sins are washed away. I'm going to take
Who?
my amulet from Kleber and I'm going to hold it up as it glows, and I'll use an XP to recharge it and cause a thunderstorm for 1d6 minutes.
Okay.
It's kind of like an intimidation tactic.
3 minutes. Okay. From behind you on the porch, you just hear one of the boys say, "It's a fucking farm. We love rain."
Yes, but too much of anything is awful. It will wash you away.
As thunder crackles above your head, the whole field lit up for just a second with a clap of lightning. And the sky's open, rain pouring down. Anything else? Or are you guys getting out?
I'm debating one thing.
Oh, so am I. So am I. I'm just, parting shot, as it were. Uh, Actually, no, because he did fire at Raviv. Yeah, I'm going to use my special ability. I It's called Lick. It's a pummeling melee attack. My attack inflicts one less point of damage than normal, but dazes your target for 1 round, during which time all tasks it performs are hindered.
Okay.
Okay.
So what are you doing?
Uh,
Like physically?
uh, Basically, as soon as I hear the shot go off, even though I'd started in the direction of Kleber, I just wheel around my one good remaining arm, balled in a fist, and go straight for his jaw.
Okay. I'm just gonna say your fist connects solidly.
Hmm.
He sort of like stumbles to the side, his gun ringing out again, but firing way, way wide. But I'm gonna need you all to roll speed now, as his sons just start firing at you.
Oh no, a 9.
Oh no, it ain't.
Oh no, a 13.
Okay. Each of
Is Glenn
you,
is I swear Glenn is our good luck charm.
right? Um, I'm gonna assume the second the bullets start coming, you guys are booking it to the wagon.
Hmm.
Am I wrong?
That's what I was
Uh,
gonna do. I already placed my curse.
is John Senior between me and the wagons?
No.
Is he close to being between me and the wagons?
I mean, kind of, I guess.
Okay.
Why? What do you want to do?
I really want to try to put my hatchet in the back of his head.
You will get one shot at it,
And
but I will make you roll an extra speed. I will tell you now, all of you failed. So you will be taking damage from the fire. Ing of bullets.
okay. My thing was like if he was close enough, I was gonna get behind him and use him as a human shield.
You can do that, but it will slow you down even more. And since isn't Ruth helping you?
Is she?
Yeah, I was literally, so basically what I was going to do is, get up to head to Kleber, turn around, punch him, and then go run to grab Kleber.
Okay, so I
So
will
yeah,
absolutely 100% let you roll to bash him with your hatchet, but it will slow you and Ruth down enough that you will both potentially get shot even more.
And I am already shot crippled.
So, what's the priority here?
Okay.
it's up to Kleber, whatever he wants to do. I'm just grabbing and trying to take him to the cart.
Okay,
Okay.
TikTok cleaver. What do you want to do?
Evens.
No,
Evens I
make a
throw it.
decision. Make a decision.
She's helping me. I'm limping. I've got one bullet. I've got a bullet under my collarbone, and I've got another bullet in my leg.
I don't think you'll be very good at throwing.
Yeah. Having tried to do something like this, it doesn't work well. I'm going to be led off, limping and bleeding.
Okay. So each of you are going to take 4 damage from the hail of bullets. Hail of bullets. They're
Cool.
slow, but like they got a lot of space to cover. Um, Kleber, you can half that thanks to Pierce's care. Reviv, you
Okay.
find yourself like grazed by a bullet, just missing the meat of your skull. But you know how scalps bleed. It is you are soaked in blood. Mm, Ruth, it has caught you in the meat of your side. You're not worried that it's hit anything too vital just yet. You'll worry
Hmm.
about that later. But it
Hmm.
has definitely cramped your ability to move very quickly. You are instantly slowed to the same pace as Kleber. But you do manage to make it to the wagon. Bloody, defeated, but alive.
I
Well,
felt
Kate's not
to
going
the
to be
back.
happy.
And you can have
Oh,
a few minutes
get
to
us out
chat
of there.
as you like just take off.
They drug a body out there. How many more
Yeah.
are there?
Good thing we know someone that can talk to ghosts.
Should we stop at the Fitzpatrick house? See if they can help us.
Sure, I will make a turn that way.
Afraid they might come after the Fitzpatricks.
They already hate the Fitzpatricks. It's
And
thud.
they want their land, and the town doesn't have a problem with them. We should stay with the Fitzpatricks. They're in danger.
Clearly, so are we. Try to tie off the bullet wound to the leg.
Everybody roll me perception.
Oh, now I roll decent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. You see all 3 men circle around the house to seemingly kind of chase the wagon. So you do know that if you stop at the Fitzpatricks, they know exactly where you are.
I'll continue down the road like I'm going into Adams proper.
Okay. And then do what?
Once I think that, we've lost sight of them, I'll pull over to see to Kleber's wounds and Reviv, who has a bloody head because he had the grazing headshot.
There's no
Kleber, you
churches
awake?
in this town, right? In Adams, you said they're in the next town over?
There's 2 in Adams.
Oh, there is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We could go there.
They would help us, and perhaps they're willing to listen to what we saw.
Provided they're not bought and paid for.
Well, nothing a little trickery can't deal with. I mean, I can make things glow.
Yeah, kind of hard when you're bleeding. Reviv, we took an. We lost this one. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pass out here in a second. Probably from blood loss.
Ever just
And
rest.
Katie can solve this problem better. I will need advice. Staying here puts us all in thud. Blood loss is a bitch.
With that of having happened, I will look at Reviv. It's 2 hours back to home. Do we want to try it tonight?
Well, if we come back and it's too late,
Too late for what?
that was a body they brought out there. What if we come back and by the time we get back, the Fitzpatricks are gone?
I don't think he would do anything immediately to them.
Ruthie was ready to shoot children when we came out of that cave.
Yes. But what do you expect us to do? Cleaver's got 2 bullets in him. I've had a bullet in me. You've been shot.
Kate wouldn't have
Hardly
sent
in a
us here
condition.
if we couldn't fix this, right?
We were sent to get food. My, uh, uh, out of character question. My one cipher, the mending mud, that
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't work on people, would it?
What does it say exactly?
Yes. It says the object moves 1 step up in the object damage track, so probably not.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, we either stay in the church or we go back home to Kate.
Well,
We have no idea what the body is or who it is or why they're doing it, other than knowing our luck, it's probably some sort of sacrifice.
more than likely.
But my current concern is the unconscious Kleber and you and myself.
I think I'll be fine. You should get Kleber to help. I'll try to lay low at the church. If you want to bring him back to Kate. We can't leave the people here. They're in danger. At least one of us should stay. And do what we can.
I just hear in the back of Ben's head, yes, split the party, split the party.
No, honestly, I would love for all of you to go back to town so we could pick up where Ashley
Yeah,
can join
Glenn.
in
Yeah,
next week. This was
yeah.
Well, I
Um,
could bring back more stuff with my wagon that could help more as well. It's a tough
let's get
choice, Ruth. What do you think we should do?
let's get Kleber back to town, back to Kate. Have them stitched up. Have them both stitched up. We'll get Glenn. He talks to dead people. We'll figure out the body. We now know something. What, I have no idea, but yeah, she will. Let me guess. This is the only road in and out of town going in the direction of our own place, right?
the only established,
Ah,
well, crafted
well,
road, yes. There are parts where you
you
could
know what?
probably, like, make your own road, but
But it's in the middle of the night. It's dark.
yep.
You know what? Fuck it. Don't care. If when we near the point, I will just basically turn the cart around. Ask. Actually, no. I will wait for putting Foxfire in front of us until after we pass the Bell Farm again, and I will not go recklessly fast, but hopefully fast enough to not get shot at or at least hit again as we pass them. going back home.
Okay. I'm just gonna say you managed to you hear the pings of bullets, but they do not actually
Cool.
hit the wagon.
Okay. And once we're past that, I'll ask Raviv to put the foxfire on like the front harness of the horse so we can have some sort of light to see by and
You
yeah,
make it
make our
back
way
to
back home.
town 2 hours later, bloody, bruised, but alive. Kind of slide into Kate's house. Well, after most everyone's asleep, and Kate will find you a place to hunker down, some salve for those bullet wounds, and figure out how to get you to the doctor in the morning. And that's where we'll wrap up, because that is about all we can do without Glenn.
Mhm.
If it makes you feel any better, you were not supposed to fix this.
We weren't supposed to, or we couldn't.
You weren't supposed to. It was going to be very, very hard.
We weren't supposed to find the body. It's okay. Don't worry. We're
Very,
just
very
supposed to get the food.
Nothing went according to plan. All of our rolls botched and we needed them to succeed.
you you had like negotiated a price. You could have succeeded on the food. I will say that.
We caught 4 bullets. Come on.
You
We
could have
did
succeeded
good.
on the food. It would have probably flown in the face of who your characters normally are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been difficult.
Hmm.
But you still did a good job. You learned some information. You maybe found a friend who at least maybe in the future be able to help you guys out with food.
Mhm.
I think we can
Yeah.
call it a success. I think we could.
Yeah.
We could. We could also call an aardvark, a bumblebee, but here we are.
And just did the tiniest of wings. So props. Go. Mitch.
Well, I gotta give it to Cleaver for nah, I'm gonna sneak out anyways. We could have just watched from the window and found everything out without Cleaver sneaking out, but off went Cleaver.
You could have probably found out more by just letting him go back inside and then sneaking out. Just saying.
True, but he had the keys. We needed the keys for the evidence.
Good roll away from picking a lock, Kleber.
Oh, damn, this is tough. I'm gonna have to go with Reviv. He definitely had a way of. He really kind of like stretched outside of his role that he normally keeps, and that like thunderstorm curse.
Drama.
Hmm.
That's what you call going in with jazz hands. I loved it.
Okay. Ruth.
Raviv trash talking the non-sneaky woodsman. That was
That was good.
like basically as soon as you said that, like Ruth is thinking, oh my gosh, Raviv can make a joke. That's impressive. I was wrong.
Gross. He spent enough time around Sass. He's developing his own.
I don't know
Mhm.
what you're talking about. Wasn't there, didn't hear it, didn't happen.
Even though you didn't accomplish your goal, you did really well. And I look forward to you catching Glenn up on everything that he missed next week.
What did you miss? Pull the bullets out, throw them at him. That's what you meant.
Hey, now keep some of those. Catherine might want to eat them.
Snack time.
And they're marinated.
Oh God.
Special
Okay,
thanks
and
to but I'm trying to it's late. I'm trying.
not you, Jen. Not you. The peanut gallery.
Thanks to Mitch for playing Reviv. Thanks to Chef playing Kleber. Thanks to Lushak for playing Ruth. We definitely missed you, Ashley. We hope you had fun scaring the masses. This has been Old Gods of Appalachia. Candlebook and Bell, if you are currently on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, give us a comment. What should they have done instead? Let us know.
Rolled better.
We have tons of games over there on YouTube if you just want to catch up with this one or check something out new. We have a Discord. Come and say hi. We'd love to see you. And we have a Patreon if you have extra cash just floating around in your pockets. The end. I have been JenOfThieves, your DM Duchess. We are, I think we have 2 episodes left of this. 2. And one of you has figured me out.
Hee.
It was not you, Chef.
No, I know exactly who it was. I don't know exactly how.
This week we also have a Vampire on Friday. Yep, on Twitch. And Resident Evil Survivors on Sunday. And we have like so many new games coming up. So if you want to sign up, Discord, we have Werewolf, Awu. Signups are closing very soon. We have Humblewood, Tales of the Valiant, Animal Heist. Sign up. Ending very soon. And then we will be having a special 2 to 3 episode Shadowrun holiday special sign up coming up very soon. If you want to get on the hot RP action, that's how you do it. That's it. That's all I have. Good night, everybody.
Happy Halloween!
Good night, y'all.
Boo.
Night.